Hello, my name is Ed Gainey, Mayor of the City of Pittsburgh, and we are Pittsburgh.
It's your boy Scoop TV, and we are here with another exclusive of We Are Pittsburgh. We got a very special guest today. The Mayor of Pittsburgh is in here, man.
I appreciate y'all coming to visit me, man. I appreciate it, man.
So we're just gonna chop it up, nice little regular conversation. Just get a little behind the scenes of who you are. You know, you do a lot for the city, and I just want to appreciate you first and foremost and stuff like that. So we're gonna start off this is saying where you from and what side of town are you from in Pittsburgh?
I'm from Lorimer. I'm from East Liberty, but me and my family live up Lincoln Leamington now, so I'm from the East End.
Oh, that's what's up, man. I'm very familiar with the area. So what would you say, like, the difference of how it was back then to what it is now?
You know, I think back then, so I went to Peabody, I came out in 88, right? And I think the biggest difference between back then and right now is just the change in neighborhoods. Like, you know, I always tell people, now that I'm a little older, I see things differently.
Right.
You know, like when I go to other cities, like whether it's Philly, Cleveland, Buffalo, West Virginia, DC, whatever, like the neighborhoods is like 15 square miles.
Wow.
Right? We're in Pittsburgh, our neighborhoods is like 5.2 square miles. And sometimes the mentality is that we get caught up in a neighborhood that's 5.2 square miles when another city or neighborhood is 15 square miles.
Yeah.
So sometimes we get confined to just being in a 5.2 square mile radius. And when you confine your mind to being a 5.2 square mile radius, how much can you be exposed to?
Exactly. That is very true. So the new infrastructure of the city and over there, they're doing a lot of new like buildings and stuff like that, a lot of new businesses. How do you feel about that change though?
Yeah, so I have a couple, feelings about it. One is I'm not for gentrification. And I think a lot of the new development is gentrified neighborhoods throughout the East End. So I'm for mixed neighborhoods. I'm not always totally in favor of mixed income when it comes to gentrifying low-income people. And I think a lot of what's happened in the East Liberty community has been gentrification, moving people out and not giving people an opportunity to excel in the new economy. I always thought that was a problem, and I thought it was a problem that at the end of the day, it's also exposure. So let me move on to exposure. What I mean by exposure is that sometimes, like I learned a long time, education is 1/3, is a third, 33% of what you learn in school. 2/3 of part of education is about what you're exposed to. And if you don't see nothing new, you can't become nothing new. And sometimes the way you do that is having inspiration for people that look like you.
Exactly.
And so if you see people that's doing things that look like you, you can inspire to want to be that. But if you don't see that, you can't inspire to want to be that. So I think that part of the movement out east also is the fact that new leaders are beginning to emerge, more new leaders than the leaders that I had coming up. Like I really didn't get into politics until I was a grown. I didn't get into politics until I went to Morgan State University in Baltimore. So the first elected official I ever met in my life, and I met him from afar, was a guy named Mayor Smoke, who was a black mayor in Baltimore. And he helped keep Morgan State a historical black college and university because the state was trying to defund black institutions. And so that's what really got me into politics, because I didn't see politics growing up in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, I didn't see politicians knocking on your door asking for your vote. I didn't see politicians holding community meetings so that you can have questions. I didn't see, so I couldn't believe I could become something I couldn't never seen in my life.
That is true.
Once I got to Morgan State, the light bulb went off.
Right. And I wanted to kind of piggyback off that, like what kind of molded that mindset though? Like what some things you might have been through personally to make you feel the way you feel now?
You mean about being a politician?
This politician, yeah.
I think a lot of it came from Baltimore, man. Like, when I met Mayor Smoke, it was because he helped us save Morgan State. So the first day I went to class, the teacher asked me what I was doing in the classroom. And I said, well, you teaching, right?
Right.
And she was like, no, your lesson is not in the classroom. It's with your classmates. You got to save this school. So coming out of Pittsburgh, back then we wasn't, protesting. We wasn't marching in the street and things of that sort. But down there they was.
Yeah.
And so when we marched from Morgan State University down to City Hall, and I seen how the elected officials was helping us keep Morgan State at HBCU, it helped me define some of the things that I wanted to be in life. At that moment in time, I didn't know I wanted to be a politician, but I knew I wanted to do community development. I knew I wanted to help make my community better. See, out of 15 major metropolitan cities, the only city in America out of those 15 major metropolitan cities that don't have a black or Latino middle class neighborhood is us. True. Every neighborhood that looks like you and I lives in poverty. And out of poverty, you can't become nothing if all you see every day is poverty. You believe in what you see. I wanted to come back and open up an opportunity for people to see more. I don't want our kids to choose the street life. I want them to choose their life.
Right.
Because in choosing your life, there's a rate of return called growth that you will always have. Choosing the street life only leads to death and destruction. So I want you to choose your life so you can become all that you want to become. And I believe it's the difference between growing old and growing up. Literally,
that's very, very deep. So let's take it back a little bit. What type of kid were you growing up, and like, what's some type of the struggles you might have had growing up?
So my mom is a single mom. My mom was a teenage mom when she had me. And so you go through a lot of the struggles of being raised with a teenage mom. Right. And so I wasn't the best student. I wasn't a person that took school seriously.
Right.
If it wasn't for football or basketball, that's what we played growing up. I played basketball in high school. I wish that sometimes I could go back and talk to little Ed and tell him the importance of learning. And what plays on me today is that there's not a day that I go by that I don't learn something. Right. See, for someone that didn't have love for education as a teenager, I have love for education today. See, I believe you should learn something every day. I think it's extremely important. And because I feel like I aborted a lot of my education in high school, I stayed fast in terms of reading every day something that's going to help me grow mentally, spiritually, so that I can continue to do what I need to do to move the city forward and move my life forward. And so growing up, coming from a single mom, dealing with a lot of the struggles that we had to deal with. I lived with my grandma first. She lived in a building, used to be buildings in East Lake called the High Rise Building.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So I grew up there. So there's a lot of things that I've seen in those buildings that shaped my early childhood experiences and maybe why I didn't take education seriously. But once I got to Morgan State, and then when I went to Norfolk first, when I went to Norfolk State, me and my mom had never been on a vacation.
Right.
So I had never been to the beach. And when I got down Norfolk State, they introduced me to Virginia Beach, and I lost my mind.
I'm already knowing, man.
You understand what I'm saying? I lost my mind. And it was one of the times that it was Greek Week down there.
Oh, man.
And I had never seen Greek Week, didn't know what Greek Week was. So I got a lot of education down in Norfolk in terms of not what to be. You know, when I came home, I remember the first thing my mother said is, wow, you bring me home a failure, a 1.8 average. So I spent 2 years going to CCAC only to get to Morgan State. So my journey to Morgan State wasn't straight out of college. It was through trial and error that got me there. But I was destined to be there because that's where the light bulb went off.
Okay, yeah, that's dope. So I'm kind of interested, like, what type of books you be reading? Like, what's some things you do on your off time? Like, what's some?
So I like, a lot of leadership books.
Okay.
I read a lot of leadership books. I read, probably like a lot of, I like The Art of War. I like John Maxwell's books. I like all books that make me think on things that I don't know, or how to strengthen my knowledge on things that I think I know. And so a lot of the books that I read are books like that. But I believe in reading every day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't read.
That makes sense. So
Marcus Garvey's another big one.
Oh,
Frederick
yeah.
Douglass is another one. And I like Marcus Garvey. I like Frederick Douglass. I like Malcolm X. I like Martin Luther King. Those books right there. There's a whole bunch of books I read, man.
Right. So in this position that you're in, there's a lot of things that deals with criticism. So how do you take bad criticism in this position?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, how do you deal with criticism? One, you gotta know who you are.
Yep.
And if you don't know who you are, then criticism defines you. If you know who you are, then you know how to take criticism. Not that it feels good, but you gotta know who you are in order to deal with it. And you have to understand that in leadership, you're gonna get criticized. You know what I mean? Like, if don't nobody criticize you in leadership, then you're a trick. You just doing whatever somebody wants you to do.
Right.
But when you in leadership and you're being a change agent, you're going to get criticized. So I knew coming in I would be dealing with two institutions that I had to deal with.
Right.
I'd have to be dealing with people in this city from a racist standpoint that really never had to deal with a black mayor because there had never been one. So becoming the first black mayor, you're going to have to deal with people that never seen a black person in this position. And when you get to the top of the pyramid and you pull back the curtain, you're not going to see people that look like us at the financial institutions, and you have to deal with that.
Right.
But you also have to deal with black poverty, because in the city we don't have middle class neighborhoods that look like us. So in black poverty, they're not exposed to seeing someone that's my color be mayor. So now you got to deal with that as well. You have to deal with both extremes.
Right.
And in dealing with both extremes, you have to understand that you're going to receive a certain amount of criticism, because if you don't, that means you ain't bringing change.
Exactly. And a lot of people think things is going to change overnight.
No. I think that's one of the issues.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no one can change you but you.
It start with
You know what I mean?
It start with that.
You gotta wanna be saved. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't wanna be there, then you can't grow. It's not what the outside is doing, it's what the inside believes. And the inside believes that the outside keeps them from moving, then you will always be in that prison. You'll grow old, but you won't grow up. See, in growing up, you have to understand that it's more about what you learn about yourself. And nothing grows in the sunlight, it only grows in the dark.
Right.
A photographer can only make a picture in the dark. So when you are being worked on and you're in a storm, that means that your spirit is being worked on to make you the person that you were destined to be.
Right.
But if you don't have no storms, like I tell people, if you ain't got a problem, you ain't got a promise.
Right.
So you got to have problems in order to sharpen your skill set so you can make a promise of a better tomorrow. If you don't have no problems, then you're not growing up.
That is true.
If you don't have no storms, you're not being developed. And so instead of saying, why am I in this storm or why me, you got to embrace the storm and be thankful that the storm came to you to teach you the lesson that it needs you to learn. As long as you continue to learn how to develop you, then you will grow up and be who you're destined to be.
That is very true. So this is a good question I like to ask all my guests and stuff like that. Mental health, because that is very important. How would you say your mental health is right now? Like, where are you at mentally?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, we've been through a lot, but we've changed a lot. You know, we brought $600 million to reinvest downtown. We've given more African American MBEs prime contracts to be able to do work, to hire people, to diversify contracting in the city. I've always, my life, have suffered from the illness of anxiety.
Right.
So I've had anxiety my whole life. So I'm gonna have anxiety till I leave here. It's the nail in my side that allows me to know that if I don't feel anxiety, then I shouldn't do what I'm doing.
Exactly.
You know, mental health is big, but the question is just, I ask people, do you know your mental health? Because if you don't know your mental health, then at the end of the day, that means your mental health is walking you and you're not walking it. And so you have to know what you say, what you suffer from. And so I openly talk about the fact that I deal with anxiety, because as much as I may hate it, it's also what I love, because without it, I wouldn't be me. If that's what I have, that's the cross I got to carry to become who I need to become, then it was given to me for a reason. The catch is, how do I deal with it so it brings out the best in me?
That is so real. So I seen the side of you talking about how much places y'all help fund it and stuff like that. So if anybody was like a small business or organization, what's the correct way to actually get funded?
One, you have to create your business plan.
Okay.
Like, you need a business plan. And what I tell people is, you're smart enough to do a business plan, but the wise person seeks counseling to do a business plan, because you want people that's done it before to help you do it.
Right.
Like, you smart enough to do one, but if I know this guy over here has done 10 business plans and I haven't done none, why am I not trying to go get him to help me build what I want to build?
Right.
So when you get a business plan together, then you got to talk about equity. How much money do you have for the project or to start your business? If you don't have none, you got to figure out how you can, you know, use other people's money. Or if you I come from a community that 9 out of 10, we ain't got that type of family money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just keep it real. So you got to be able to understand financing and how you're able to get money to help you establish your business. And then depending on what you want to do, depending on what your business plan is, you would talk to someone like the Urban Redevelopment Authority, that has different loan packages, that has different startup packages, and things of that sort that can help you out.
Right.
But it starts first with you creating a business plan of what you want your business to be.
Right. Also, I want to get into like grants as well too. That's something I'm actually looking forward to kind of fund this project that I'm doing, because We Are Pittsburgh. I really want to start collaborating with a lot of different people and just bring a little bit more opportunities for people that look just like me and want to do a lot of things that I do. So if I was looking to like to go into getting a grant, what's the right procedures for a grant?
So at the city, there is none.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And most places don't have grants no more. Now you can go to a foundation, and the foundation may fund you on some of the activity that you want to do. But the first thing is, strategically, what is your uniqueness?
Right, right.
You understand? You got to be able to define what is your uniqueness, because there's a whole lot of people doing what you do.
Right.
But the catch becomes, what is your uniqueness? And then, if it's also, how do you get sponsors? Like, how do you get some of these corporations or organizations, nonprofits, what have you, to sponsor what you want to do? You know, what is their interest? Because you want to marry your interest of what you do to what they believe in. That way they can find value in you. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be able to marry the interest in order for that to happen. But first, strategically, you got to determine what is your uniqueness. Okay. Like a lot of times we don't think about our strategic positioning. Like strategically, how are we positioning ourselves? And you do that by your uniqueness. What makes you unique? If you can't answer the question on what makes you unique, then it don't matter what you try to sell, you won't do it.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad that you spoke on that, because a lot of people just think that it's an easy process, and it's not. It might take months. It might take years.
It might take years. It might take years. I mean, you don't know what the journey look like till you start climbing that hill.
Yeah.
You got to get some scars.
Right,
like I tell people all the time, the only one that climbs a mountain and don't get no scars is the one who didn't climb it.
Yeah, they ain't even tried.
They ain't even tried. They still at the bottom. But once you start climbing that hill, once you start climbing that mountain, you're gonna get some scars. They're beautiful. Pac said one time, it's the rose that grows from the concrete. You need some scars in order to demonstrate how much you've built something. No one builds anything without scars. Right. So you gotta have some scars in climbing that mountain to demonstrate that you've been through something and you learn from it so that you can go to the next level. Right. Without that, you still at the starting line.
Yeah, because every L is a lesson, you know?
Well, you can only learn from that. Nobody learns in the sunshine, they just dance.
Right.
Where you learn is in the storm.
Deep, man. That is deep. So, outside of like everything you do, what's like a nice, fun, laid back day for the mayor? Yeah,
so I think it's in seasons for me. Like, I love the park. I love the park. Is serenity to me. Yeah. So I can go to the park and just sit there. People watch, read a book, whatever, but it's serenity when I'm in the park. It's my ability to be in the park. I don't hear nothing. You don't hear the commotion. It's just peaceful. If it's in the fall, I want to see a good Steelers game. Right. And hoping we win, hoping we bring back a victory. And, you know, in the winter too. But if it's like February and stuff like that, to me, it's, you know, a good book. You know, a good book that you can read that can let your mind be free. Or good music. I love music. Yep. So, you know, I mean, like, it just depends. But those are the things that move me.
All right, so I would say this. All right, if somebody wasn't from Pittsburgh that was coming in here, what's your top 5 restaurants? Where would we going to eat if we came to the Bird?
I'm going to Drew's first. I'm going to Showcase.
That's number 1.
Okay, I'm going to Showcase first. 2 is, if I had my second one, it'll be Lindo's on the north side.
You putting me on something.
Lindo's breakfast
what that consists of? Breakfast?
Yeah, it's fire. Their breakfast is fire. My third one would be, if we talking restaurants where I would want to go, that I enjoy going. I like Red Lobster. I like seafood. Yeah. I love seafood. So Red Lobster would be the third one. The fourth one for me, I would have to say would be, let me think of my fourth, Fireside.
Oh, for sure.
I love Fireside.
What you getting in there, man?
I'm getting the jerk chicken.
You going jerk
chicken. I'm getting the rice. I'm getting the cabbage. You know what I mean? So that would be my fourth one. And then my fifth one would probably be, if I was going to get some good wings. If I was going to get some fire wings, it would probably be the Galaxy.
He went in Galaxy. All right, yeah. They do got good food in there.
Fire.
Swear. That's what. Shout out to them over there. If you ever in the Berg, definitely check them out. No, definitely. So like, what's your upcoming projects? You got something that you want to speak on, promote right now?
I mean, I think inclusionary zoning and us trying to get inclusionary zoning across the goalpost is major, because I believe that I believe that housing is a human right.
Okay.
And that everybody should have, homes that are affordable. I don't believe in $1,500 for one bedroom. I'm not paying $1,500 for one bedroom.
Right.
But I think one is inclusionary zoning that we want to get accomplished. I think two is our Stop the Violence Fund.
Okay.
We've reduced violence in the city homicides in the city over 33%. And in the black community, we reduced it close to 60%. Mm-hmm. And so we've done a phenomenal job. And that means a lot to me, because most people know my sister, was murdered in March of 2016. That's a picture of her over there. For me, every time that we reduce homicides, it's like for me a tribute to my father,
right?
Because my father took our kids in and raised her kids, and other people that I know have lost their children and lost loved ones that I grew up with. So in order for any neighborhood or for any city to be safe, we have to reduce homicides.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
and
true.
I don't want us to focus on, just the ones that passed away. I want us to give respect to them. What I want to focus on is how we prepare the next generation to be what they can be, to go get it, to be resilient, to want to grow up and not just grow old. See, I want that next generation to know that they can be whatever they want to be. I want them to know that if they want to own a business, they can own a business, but you got to go through what you got to go through to get there. I want them to know that they can be whatever they want to be. I think that a lot of times in our community, we're not exposed to that higher quality of what you can be, so you end up just settling for what you see every day.
That's true.
And I don't want that. I think that if they understood the power of who we were, if they understood that before we got here, we was kings and queens, they wouldn't be thugs and gangsters.
That's real.
And so I believe that we can be whatever we want to be, because we've proven it over and over and over again. It's just that they don't teach us that our history in schools. Like a lot of the history that I learned of being African American, I learned from, not just the slave, but the kings and queens before we came over here. Our journey over here, I wouldn't have known that if I didn't go to Morgan State University, that focused on that African American curriculum that prepared me and nourished me in a way that allowed me to know who I am.
Right.
So that when I left out of there, the character of me was beginning to build. And then I still had to go through those storms so that I can continue to be designed the way I needed to be designed. But I think that more people that understand the culture of their history, the more they understand what they can be. We're phenomenal in every aspect. And so if you understood that, whatever you desire to be, if you're willing to go through the pain of hell to get to the love of heaven, you can do it.
That is true. That is very true. It's leadership. And we need more leaders out here, man.
Yeah, but you got to see the leader in you.
Exactly.
The first person you got to lead is yourself. And a lot of times that means that you got to understand everybody can't go on your journey. See, when the journey is designed specifically for you, it's hard. Like I tell people, don't always look at people to be permanent. Some people are seasonal. Some people are temporary. Some people are forever. You will not be the one that decides that. Life circumstances will decide that for you. You will have to determine which direction you want to go. But if it's about developing you, then you always got to see the interest of you. If you see the issue, you'll keep talking about it. But the only thing in life that gets a return on this investment is interest. So I need you to see the interest of you.
That's real. That's real. Let's talk more about like some significant moments of being the mayor of Pittsburgh. What was like some of your defining moments?
I think the victory.
Yeah.
Because I didn't believe I could win.
Mm-hmm.
The city's only made up of 23% African Americans. So if you take it from that, maybe 14 to 16% vote, a city that don't have a black or Latino middle class neighborhood, it was it was really about the work ethic that I had to get here and respecting that. Then to get here and the bridge collapse, getting the bridge put up in record time, 71 homicides my first year coming out of the pandemic. Now we've reduced that by 33%. The NFL draft, $600 million for downtown, more affordable housing delivered in my first year, in my first term as mayor than any other mayor. You know, those are memorable. Bond rating being increased to show that we're fiscally sound. All those things, the most diverse administration in the history of the city. 54% of our subcontractors going to African American and other minorities. First time in the city history, we had 3 black prime contractors on major construction deals. We got a black prime on Homewood Field. We got a black prime on the Department of Public Works new building. And we got a black prime on our comprehensive plan. You know, those are things that are symbolic and mean something to me. Because in order to create a city for all, you got to see yourself in the city from a cultural standpoint to want to be here. The journey's not easy here because at the end of the day, you know, you don't have too many people in power positions that look like me. Mm-hmm. We put the first woman ever to be a director of EMS. Well, most people don't even know that Freedom House was the reason why the city has an EMS. And even though Freedom House came out of the hill, was the first ambulance service in the United States of America, most people don't even know what Freedom House is, right, that look like me. You see what I'm saying? So when you don't know the history, you can't see what we've achieved, and therefore it's difficult to believe. But those are things that meant a lot to me my first term. First time having, you know, when I talk about the most diverse administration ever, having the challenge of leading that, of getting people that come from multiple different backgrounds and ethnic groups to work together. All those things are meaningful. To be able to have an opportunity to stand in the ring with some of the injustices of this city that we know quite well and do what we need to do was challenging and rewarding. So for me, it's just, what have we done in this position to plant a different seed? Like I told everybody when I took this job, we have to be an uncommon seed. We can't be a regular seed, because a regular seed grows the same things we've been growing. I don't see where that benefited us. But an uncommon seed changes the game. Mm-hmm. Here's the difference though. Whatever seed you decide to be, you won't see the full development for 20 years. Because it takes a while to see growth. True. Growth doesn't happen in 2, 4, 5, 6 years. It starts incrementally growing, but you only see growth over time. You know, and that's why I tell people all the time, like, for me, I became an adult at 21 because the law tells you you're an adult at 21. But I didn't become a man until I was 29. You understand what I'm saying?
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? For real. A lot of times people think 21 make them a man or a woman, but it don't. Accountability and responsibility makes you that. And that don't happen when you turn 21. It only happens in time. So what type of seed are you? You a regular seed or an uncommon seed?
That is real. That is, man, there's a lot of game, man. I hope when they see this, they really listening, man. This is a lot of game. I'm soaking in myself. So this whole project, like I was talking about, is called We Are Pittsburgh. It's more so for the people, you know, entrepreneurs, you know, people in politics, anything like that. It's about collaborating. So how important is that, you know, coming from this city?
There's nothing more stronger than collaborative leadership. Mm-hmm. It's the way I lead. See, I want to break it down to the root cause, or sometimes in order for me to break something down to the root cause to build it up, I have to hear from different perspectives, because your life experience is going to be different than an Olga life experience who's coming from the Caribbean islands. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So the way she's going to see the problem and the way you're going to see the problem is two different. But what you have in common is part of the solution.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? What you have in common, the more you can collaborate with people, the most powerful thing when leaders lead leaders. That means in a leadership position, all leaders must lead each other. You're guaranteed to have their followers, but can you lead with other leaders? Can you create that collaborative around the problem in order to solve it, to make it better for everybody that you come in contact with? So I think you have to be collaborative. There's no question. Even look at it here. You right here in the mayor's office.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know how many African Americans have never been in the mayor's office?
Literally.
And that's why we brought so many in. But it took you to have a different type of mindset. Now listen to what I'm saying. You can name 10, you can name 20 of your friends. Come on, let's make it easy. Let's make it larger than that. Let's say 100 of your friends, right? How many would have had the foresight to say, man, let me see if I can get in touch with the mayor? And hey, I want you to think about it. See if you can give me 3 of your friends that had a vision, that had a goal, that had something they wanted to accomplish, would have said, let me reach out to the mayor, see if I can get him on my podcast, see if we can have a conversation. So the question becomes this: what is the difference that made you do it?
I was pretty much just wanted to be different. Like, I just want to bring a different type of exposure to the podcast. Some people won't take that risk. I would say probably like a good 4 people I probably would have known probably would have at least thought to do it, you know what I mean?
But thinking and doing is 2 different things.
Exactly.
What made you do it?
Just because I felt like it was a need. I just wanted to pick up the game. I wanted to ask these questions because I know there's a lot of things that people might not know about you, you know, so it's just like, why not? And it's We Are Pittsburgh, you are Pittsburgh, you know, you play contribute to a lot of good things in the city, so it was only right.
But when you said, I'm gonna reach out, when it went off in here, I'm gonna reach out, what was it? Forget the podcast.
Yeah.
What made you reach out?
Because I know
See, that's
it's
where the
possible.
fruit is at.
Because I know it's possible, and all I had to do was try. Trying. That's the first step for everything, is just trying. Yeah. Literally. That's how I got through life, honestly. Like, when I went to school, actually, you know, originally I'm from Pittsburgh, but I moved to Houston for a long time. And, you know, just taking that step and being out there by myself, it really helped me build character, because when you by yourself, you learn a lot about yourself. So me just taking that step and coming back and just seeing, like, the pieces of the puzzle that we need to do, the structure, the media scene here in Pittsburgh kind of influenced me to come back and really help people, you know, open up the minds of the youth, of people that look just like me too, that you can actually do it. And just hearing every day, like, I'm proud of what you do. It just keep me going, you know. I got a lot of people that I gotta take care of myself, so it's just like, I have to do this. It's not a want, it's just something I need to do, because it's like, I was so, you know, easy on quitting. Like, I'm like, it's not going right, I'm done. You know, I'm not doing that. But I'm at a point in my life where it's just like, I have to do this stuff, you know.
So let me ask this. How many books do you read on this?
So there's a couple. I'm more of an audiobook type of person.
That's cool.
I like The Art of War, like you said, Outwitting the Devil, stuff like that. That's a good book, because, you know, we deal with that every day.
Every day.
So I like those little things and stuff like that. There's a couple others. A lot of brain development type of things too. I'm a real psychological type of person. Like, you know, that's why I do interviews. I like to pick people's brains, you know. I like to ask certain questions and when to ask them too. So this is my lifestyle. I love interviewing.
Do you know that we don't have it's not that we don't have instruments. We do. Courier, whammo. So we do have some instruments. But we don't really have a real live communication mechanism to reach the black community.
Exactly.
For a couple reasons. One is funding. We haven't studied how you finance things to make it work. 2 is audience. We haven't really established a critical mass of regards to audience, because a critical mass has to be of many different age groups. Thirdly is we haven't been able to, how I want to say this, we haven't been able to think about what are the 4 or 5 top issues that we care about.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's difficult because in other cities there's communication mediums that people can go and get information. For us, we don't have that. Like if you're in DC, you got 3, 4 radio stations.
Right.
You know, we got all this new technology, right? But we haven't, for some reason in this area, mastered that technology to be able to reach the masses.
Exactly. And I want to piggyback on that too, because I noticed there's a lot of artists that come here too. There's a lot of good people that come to the city. And you know, like when you go to like the New Yorks, the LAs and stuff like that, they have these hubs, these different radio stations where they could go and do press run. We don't really have too much of that. That's why I'm kind of trying to highlight a lot of different podcasts, not only my own, but other podcasts that's out there and people, journalists that, you know, will help us kind of market what we got going on here too. And I notice a lot of things, like we have a lot of these dope events, but a lot of people don't know about it, you know? So it's like, if I could create that platform where people could go on and, like, say if we have somebody big come to the city, come and talk about what they got going on, they might have an album or anything out there that's coming out. We have these different platforms that they're able to go to. So I 100% understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, we but it's a problem that's an opportunity.
Yeah, literally. Yep,
you know what I mean? Like, and that's why I always tell people, like, if you don't have a problem, you ain't got a promise.
Right.
Like, the only way you got opportunities is if you got a problem.
Right.
That's a problem that we have in this city, but it can be solved.
Right.
It's just putting the right mix together that makes it solvable. And that's what I mean by collaborative leadership. Like, who do I need to have in a room to break this problem of communication down to where we can build it back up to be able to reach the masses? See, if I think about it myself, then I'll never get to the conclusion. You see what I'm saying? Because the only wisdom I'm drawing off is mine. But what makes my wisdom universally correct? When there's people that's in this communication world that have more wisdom than me.
And this is another exclusive for We Are Pittsburgh. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you follow us on all our social medias. If you want to give yourself a shout out on where they can follow you at.
You go first. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity to have this sit down with you. Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
Secondly, if they want to reach me, add Gainey on Facebook, add Gainey24 on Instagram, add Gainey on X, add Gainey on LinkedIn. I'm probably forgetting one, but those are
the main ones, man.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, man. We Are Pittsburgh, Scoop TV.
And I want to, you know, also commend you on even reaching out.
For surely.
I'm serious, man. Young brother reaching out, man. That meant a lot to me, man. And that's really how you got the interview, because you had the courage to reach out.
No, for surely.
Appreciate that.
Oh, man, no problem. You heard it here first. Let's get it.